Hey, what's up, everybody? It's MarcosLuis here, OneMicNite Podcast, the podcast that brings you stories of artists and people in life on their personal journey, helping you guide, answer questions, and motivate you in the business. Are you an artist? Is there an overnight success? Are you looking for fame? That's not always the case. But today, we're going to speak to an artist who might give us a little insight on some things, and we're going to have a great discussion. You've seen him on everything. You may not know his name, but you will after this show. You've seen him on CBS, HBO, projects such as Dante's Cove, Alexander's Price. Please welcome Josh Berresford to OneMicNite Podcast. What's up, Josh?
Hey, man. How are you? Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. Thanks for taking the time. Listen,
of course.
I have questions. First of all, you got answers? Good. Who is Josh?
You know, be the right answer.
Oh, right. Who is Josh Berresford?
Josh Berresford's a pretty humble guy who, I think I'm a hustler. I'm a hard worker. I've always have been. It was instilled in me since the age of 12, I would say. I started with a newspaper route. After the newspaper route, I got a job at Ponderosa Steakhouse waiting tables while I was in high school. And then also in high school, I played many sports, was treasurer of the National Honor Society. I played baseball and tennis, and I was vice president of my class. I don't know, I've always just been a go-getter. I love my parents to death, but I knew I didn't want to grow up and be like them.
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania. It's north of Pittsburgh.
That's right. We grew up in kind of the same place. I grew up right outside the Pittsburgh area too, in Monroeville.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was north.
Yeah. How was that for you? How was the Pittsburgh area?
Well, thank God after my mom had split up with her second husband, we were going to move into Beaver Falls district, and there's a school there, Beaver Falls or Blackhawk, even though it's all Beaver Falls is the city, but there was the shitty school and the good school. And thank God my dad bought a house within the Blackhawk school district, so I could stay in Blackhawk and get a better education, which I say my high school education outshined my college education by miles.
Wow.
What a waste of time and money going to college.
Oh, really?
And
why do you say that?
Well, I went there, and the first 2 years was like high school all over again, and I paid for college myself, and they still want me to pay my student loans, and I didn't find any value in it. My one professor, he would give us bonus points to show up to class, because we would just show up to class and take the test because we already knew everything. I was like, what the hell am I paying $700 and some for these credits when I already know this? It's just a money-making scheme.
Right, yeah.
It wasn't until the last 2 years that we really got into anything that was substantial. I learned some video editing and TV production and communication stuff. So my advice to anyone out there, if you have kids or you're thinking about going to college, think twice. Maybe do a vocational
Really?
school,
Wow.
or do just make sure it's not a ripoff.
Right.
And then I got a scholarship to stay on the campus,
Mm-hmm.
and they made me. I worked at the Ground Round across the street. I don't even know if those exist anymore.
Right.
I paid for college myself, and so I had to work full time at the restaurant, and so I had food, but on the campus they make you buy a meal plan. And then at the end of the year, if you didn't finish all the money on your meal plan, they didn't give you the money back. They said, go buy candy or something. It's just ridiculous. And then this is during Obama, and whenever he stopped the credit cards from getting on campus.
Right.
I've been through bankruptcy through that. There's a lot of things that really need change in this country with education and finance and everything.
Where did you?
I'm going to get into that later. But.
No, yeah. Where did you start doing the arts? What was the point when you started?
Well, that was the thing.
So
I graduated Robert Morris, and I went on interview after interview after interview, and I'll never forget. I went to this big advertising firm in downtown Pittsburgh, and I thought I always wanted. I was a big Young and the Restless fan growing up, and seeing them in the office buildings, I was like, oh, that's what I want to do. Not knowing that really what I wanted to do. I just wanted to be working in an office building and be like them. It was like my goal was out there. But so I remember, and I was like, oh, this is what I always wanted. And they had me take this test and write out this advertising thing and all this stuff and sit across from 3 of them in the boardroom. I was nervous as hell. And then I get a letter in the mail later on. I'm sorry, you don't have the experience we're looking for. And then I went on for some other interviews after that, and same thing. I'm sorry, you don't have the experience you're looking for. I was like, what? Did you think it wasn't gonna be on my resume? But I was like, oh, by the way, I didn't put it on my resume, but I did this and this. So I'm like, why are you wasting your time and my time with this interview at all? If I don't have the experience you're looking for. So I said, fuck it. I went and took a couple classes at Point Park Conservatory, and then I went and did my first audition for community theater in Pittsburgh. It was at Veronica Vale's Player. I don't know if you remember.
Okay, yeah.
And I did a show called Big Bucks. It was hilarious. And then I didn't stop for 2.5 years after that, doing community theater. I did a student film, I did an independent film, and then I got a flyer in the mail inviting me to a thing called to audition for the IMTA, and it's through my mother agency, and it's she's gonna kill me. Pro Model and Talent Management. So I drove all the way out to Akron, Ohio. I did the audition, and they gave me the automatic callback and wanted me to go to the IMTA with them. That cost like about $5,000 some. I didn't have the money, but I asked my grandmother. She said, "You're sure this is what you want to do?" I said, "Yes, grandmother, this is what I want to do." So she gave me the money, and I came to New York and did the IMTA. I finished with one of the top awards, and I started working with the manager from there, Thomas Harding Jones, who has worked with Amanda Seyfried and a couple other big names. But he's since passed of pancreatic cancer years ago now. So that's what got me here to New York. It was his interest in me, and that made me. I moved to New York like right away.
Wow.
I stopped paying all my bills. I knew I was going to declare bankruptcy. Right. It was either that or live in Moon Township by the airport and just keep paying my bills and struggling. I said, well, where can I go for my dreams and do what I want to do? And that's what I did. So, and the bankruptcy's cleared off now, and I'm good.
It's interesting. I have 2 things. One, I kind of grew up the same way because I'm not afraid of hard work. I worked at Rack's Roast Beef. Remember that?
No, I don't know.
I was at, it was kind of like an Arby's.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? So I was in boarding school, but like everybody had a lot of money.
You were in boarding school.
I was in boarding school, but my mother, single parent, working hard to put me through boarding school. But in the summertime, I would come home, I would work at Rack's Roast Beef to save money. Yep. Same thing. Did you ever fall victim to any kind of scams, like acting scams, modeling scams, anything like that along the way? Because
no, not really. No scams. Shitty productions, yes. I won't mention any names or anything, but yeah. there's some I regret signing on to. Yes.
No John Casablancas, none of that stuff.
No, I remember that name though.
Yeah.
No scams. That was, a lot of people thought the IMTA was maybe a scam, but now I'm still friends with my mother agency. I'm going to be teaching a class for her with the new people coming in, and I still go to the IMTA every year, except this year with COVID. But and I'm like a VIP guest, and I go up and present an award, and we have dinner and drinks. And it's fun. I love it. I love going back every year.
You see. So can you give people a little bit of insight on how that works? Like how agencies work and how, talent works with agencies to get jobs. And this is just for the people listening, like what agencies do.
I would say it's pretty general. I've been through many agents, but I don't know. I just try to keep on them. I think it's important to keep the communications open and make sure you're both on the same page and trying to get the right auditions that you want. I'm loving my new agent, Central Artists, because they're actually getting me more pilot auditions and series regular auditions, guest starring auditions. So yeah, I think just keep the communication open. My manager it's very important that they answer the phone or at least get back to you in a timely manner. I don't like when it's past 24 hours myself. I know we're all busy. I give them 48 hours, but then I'm back on them like, hey, what's up? But my reps now are pretty good. They get back to me pretty quick, pretty easily.
Right. Well, I think What do you, like, a lot of people want to get to the point where they have an agent. What was that like for you? Was it a struggle, or just coming out of IMT, you had the audition and, and somebody say, hey, I want to represent you?
Yeah, well, I was fortunate that that manager liked me, and I think I was actually considered old at that time. That was in 2003, so I was 25, and it's just when all the pretty face boys are in there, young. So he paid more attention to them than me, but he did help me out, and he got me with some good agents. I think it was Paradigm at the time, and I had some really good auditions. But I'm not gonna lie, early in my career, and it still happens sometimes, the nerves just took over. And I think I could have been a lot further along in the beginning if I didn't let the nerves take over. I was just completely I remember I always wanted to be on Guiding Light, and when I was on Guiding Light, I was just like shaking in my boots, and it's not that big of a deal. It's really not.
How important is self-confidence in the business?
Very important. Be prepared, be confident. I was just reading article, I think it was the guy from Shark Tank, Kevin something. He was saying, fake it till you make it without being a fraud.
Right. Absolutely.
But now I'm turning 43 this year, and I just don't give a shit anymore.
Right.
In a good way. I do care, but I don't care so much that it's not going to be a life or death situation if I don't get this part. That's how I used to feel. I was like, if I don't get this, and then they're not going to want me anymore, and then I'm bad with this CD, and I've had some horrible auditions with some CDs, and they still call me back and still like me, and then I booked with them. But you never know. So don't beat yourself up.
Right. Is there any light you can shine about that, about meeting CDs and meeting, auditioning for people, in terms of, the confidence level? I mean, just being yourself and just understanding
yourself and be prepared. Right. It's the biggest thing. Do your homework, and nowadays they really want you off book. There's no more looking down at the paper, especially in COVID times, and we're doing self tapes. So I'd say the more you're prepared, the less nerves you'll have, and the more confidence you'll have, and I think that will show and shine through.
Absolutely. I want to talk about some of your projects. Sure. Some of the ones that I mentioned before. One that's probably way back there, Dante's Cove. Yeah. How was that? Tell us a little bit about that, and how was that for you? Yeah. How was that for you?
It was amazing. So it was when Jen Rudolph, she was casting, it was Mitchell Rudolph casting at the time. I think I got it through Backstage or something like that. I auditioned for it, and I got an automatic call back. I don't know, I was just perfect for the part. It's pretty much me. There's a lot of me in there. And then I came back, and she said, go get a pair of diesel jeans, nice and tight, a nice tank top, and come back and do the callback. So we did that, and then it took weeks to hear back from them, but then I found out I had the final callback, and they flew me out to California. Sorry, I don't remember that casting director, but there was a whole bunch of us in the lobby of this casting director, even where I should say the hallway, because the elevators were there. We're all sitting there. They kept bringing people in for the different roles, and nobody was going in for Corey. And then finally they called me in, and I did the audition, and then still nobody went in for Corey. And then the casting director came over in front of everyone and whispered in my ear. She was like, I just want to let you know you got the part, but don't say anything yet.
Oh, wow.
And I was like ecstatic. I thought my life was taking off. I was like, this is it.
Right.
But I was like, obviously all the people know, because I was the only one who read for Corey. He just came and whispered in my ear.
Wow.
I got right on the elevator, went downstairs, and my first time in LA, I was outside in beautiful weather and called my parents. I was like, I got it. And then we went and we shot in Turks and Caicos for 5 weeks.
Beautiful.
On the island of Grand Turk, which is kind of like a third world country. It's known more for scuba diving there. Shout out to Tanya and Sandbar. We actually my fiance and I, we went back this January to Turks and Caicos. We stayed on Provincialis, but I insisted we take a plane over. I wanted to go visit her for at least a day. So we did that, and it was just a whole influx of memories coming back and everything. It's pretty awesome. I was in the show with Stephen Amell from The Arrow, and I think it was by Nadine Nicole now. She's on Young and Restless. She's on The Expanse now on Prime. Charlie David has done some stuff. She was in the second season. She was on Queer as Folk. So I got to work with a lot of lovely people. Not so much in touch with them anymore, but I don't have anything bad to say about them. I love them all.
That's good. What about Alexander's Price?
That was. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
Oh man. Well, I don't want to give anything away because the ending is sick. But that I didn't audition for that. I think he saw me from Dante's Cove and offered me the role, and it was very low budget. I don't remember if I was paid or not, but I figured, what the hell, I love not having to audition, so I took the role, and it went international. A lot of fans from that, a lot of people, a lot of views on YouTube with my sex scenes. Sex sells, I guess.
It sure does. I was
watching about the girl on Bridgerton had to do the orgasm on screen. I'm like, I know how that is. I was like, no, there's no rehearsing. Let's just do it. Let's just try to get it in one take and get it done. Yeah. Sex scenes aren't sexy.
No, they're not. They really aren't. No. What are some of the good lessons you've learned or you learned from that show?
Alexander's Price?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, both of those.
Well, Dante's Cove, it was my first real professional on-set experience, so it taught me a lot. And Tracy Scoggins, she was big in the 80s. She was on Dallas, or you'd have to look her up, but she's done a lot. Mm-hmm. She was on Lois and Clark, Superman, and Nick Tuck, and all those shows. But she taught me some. She said, when you're sitting, that you sit slowly so the camera can follow you. It's not like real life. You're not just sitting down. Take your time and just less is more with the camera. Yeah, so I owe a lot to her for teaching me in the very beginning.
That's nice.
Yeah. Now I also learned how you deal with an asshole director. I forget his name. Oh my God. He got, this was during when Survivor first started, he got kicked off the island. He was doing drugs and trying to sleep with the girls and I think some guys. Sorry, I thought my door was open. So he got kicked off, and then the next director, Sam Irvin, I was just chatting with him on Facebook the other day, actually. He does a lot of Lifetime movies now, I guess, and Hallmark movies. Mm-hmm. He was much nicer and much better to work with. So, dealing with an asshole director is no fun. Oh, I'll tell you the story. So it's the island, and I don't know, somehow I must have got the water in me or something. And Nadine and I were trying to shoot a walking scene, and it was the first day, I think it was the camera operator, one of them, told us afterwards, but we couldn't get we weren't ending the speaking where the director wanted us to. He kept making us do it over and over and over again. Mm-hmm. And I had to go to the bathroom really bad. And I mentioned to him, he just went on. He was like, do you think the cast and crew don't have to go to the bathroom? Just going off on me. And then, I forgot, we have a mics on, he can hear everything. I was like,
oh no.
He was like, yeah, I can hear that. I was like, what? Anyway, the guy who was out operating the camera, I think he had something to do with the cameras. I forget, it was a while ago. But he's like, if he knew what he was doing, he would have told you. You start the scene where he wants it to end, you talk from there and walk backwards, and then when you walk, you're going to hit that mark. I was like, oh. So I've kept that with me ever since. So
interesting.
A walking and talking scene, and you need to hit the end mark. You start from the end, and go back to the beginning, and then start.
Got it. Well, how about that? Do you do theater also?
I do. I did a play. I actually I did a naked play in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, called Happy Ending, where I played a straight guy going in for a massage, but then I ended up that I was kind of stalking the masseuse guy, and I actually ended up on the front page of the Sun Sentinel.
Oh wow!
Florida, which is like their New York Times or something,
yeah.
Which I didn't realize. I thought it was like a gay newspaper. I was like, oh, that's cool, And they're like, no, this is like the New York Times of South Florida. I was like, oh,
big, yeah.
I went and bought all kinds of coffees.
That's funny.
I think my favorite theater role, or best theater role that has taught me the most and was just amazing. Well, two of them. There was, kind of goes with today's climate, The White Rose, which is about these, I did that in Pittsburgh at the old public theater through Point Park. I was actually cast, I wasn't really a Point Park student like the other kids in the production were. I was shocked she cast me, but we played students who in Nazi Germany were handing out, they were called the White Rose leaflets, talking about the Fuhrer and Nazis and how it's bad and everything, and trying to get it out there. And a janitor, this is a true story, and the janitor did a citizen's arrest, and they arrested us, put us on trial, and then they hung all of the students. And it was so cool because up in the rafters of the public theater in Pittsburgh, each time one of us died, they rang a bell and the light went out on us. It was really cool.
Oh, wow.
The silence at the end of the play let you know exactly that we had accomplished what we were there to do.
Wow, that sounds amazing. What do you like better? Do you like theater? Do you like film, or is there?
I love theater. I love theater. It's more of a challenge. You get more direction. It's more of a collaboration. I think you get to really spend more time with people and get to know them and just work, and play. Whereas, especially with the TV shows, it's okay, we're ready. Let's go. You barely ever get direction. I like direction myself.
Interesting. So how have you been doing?
I did want to mention, because everything Black Lives Matter and everything, I did the story of Emmett Till. It was called Emmett Till Down in My Heart on Theater Row at the All Stars Project here in New York City. And I never heard of Emmett Till before, which was disgusting. And I thought I had a great education growing up, and but there was only 2 black kids in our class. So no mention of Emmett Till ever. Not until I did that play did I know anything. I was sitting there. I had really bad allergies, I remember, and we the director was great, and she had us watch a documentary with Mamie Till, his mom, and I was just sitting there between the allergies and crying my eyes out. I was like, and then she was like, she didn't want to cast me because she thought maybe I was too sensitive because I was playing his killer. She wasn't sure I could be mean enough. But, we had a procession at the end, and we would meet the audience members, and they said, I just wanted to punch you. I was like, thank you, I did my job then.
Job well done.
Yeah. For some reason, I play bad guys, bad people very well for some reason, but that's not me at all.
Interesting.
I'm the most non-violent. I mean, I'll talk a lot of shit, but I ain't about to throw fists or anything or try to hurt anyone.
So since you brought it up, I was going to ask you, considering all the things that happened last summer, Black Lives Matter movements, the election, what's your feeling on the whole movement that happened last summer with George Floyd and
well, it's been a long time coming. It's unfortunate, I'm all for peaceful protests. I don't like the rioting and the looting, but I don't really believe, there's just bad actors out there that are going to be in anywhere at any time.
Opportunities.
So they can't, and now the whole deflection thing now with people is, well, what about, all the looting and whatever before? I'm like, a Capitol riot and some people getting killed, and they were going in to kill and maim and kidnap, and there's no comparison. People will just blow my mind. I really believe, it's sad, and people might hate me for saying this, but I really believe 40% of this country are very uneducated and maybe a little mentally ill, and I think they need big time help.
I'd have to agree with you. Yeah.
Education, and if these people don't get on it and start doing something about our education system, it's only going to get worse. The education system is set up for the rich, and the poor get nothing. And it's horrible.
Absolutely.
Thank God my dad kept me in. I would have been in the same situation maybe if I went to the other school. My dad kept me in the good school. Thank God.
Do you feel like this administration is heading towards something different?
Yeah, they're working.
Coming here?
They're working for the people and trying to do something right.
Yeah.
Of course, the repugnants are trying to stop them at every angle. I don't know why. I don't know why they're I don't know. They're so vindictive, so nasty, so immorally wrong. God forbid people have equal rights,
Right.
and people are be able to take care of. And they talk about the socialism. Well, what about bailing out the farmers and bailing out Wall Street? I had a great day job whenever I moved to New York, and I did all my TV shows and everything.
Mhm.
My boss loved me and he let me go do them. And then the whole market crash in 2008, there went my job. I had to go back to bartending, which I didn't want to do.
Right.
And then I'm like, where's my, they bail out these rich fucks. Like, what about the little people?
What about the little people? Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think we're in the same position right now where
you get $400 a week and take the taxes out for unemployment.
right.
What's that gonna
Exactly.
do? Especially here.
Exactly. We're in the same predicament right now. You know what I mean? Like the small businesses are suffering. They can't even get the loans. They went through 3 waves of the loan last time before
These
the
other
small
big
business.
companies get them and they're buying
Yeah.
Lamborghinis and stuff. And,
Exactly.
Joel Osteen, he needs the money.
Exactly. Or they have the money to squeeze out the small businesses right away.
Oh yeah.
They can
Yeah,
do
my
the things
poor,
they can do.
I used to work at the Beatrice Inn in the West Village. She's become like a celebrity chef, Angie Marr. And I worked there years ago, but she just got pushed out because of the greediness of the lease. And that place was a staple. It was grown by Graydon Carter and Vanity Fair before. All the celebrities go there. I've met so many people, awesome people, were great. And then they wouldn't negotiate with her for the lease, so she had to move into the place next door, which is much smaller. It doesn't have the nostalgia. I know she's trying to keep her head up and say everything's great, but I know it kind of hurt her. Like, that was her baby. Yeah.
It's tough. It's very tough.
And honestly, I hope that sits there for a long time. They get no rent.
Absolutely.
I've seen that happen when I was in the West Village.
Mhm.
Many years, people would they'd be pushed out because of rent, and then those places would sit there. I'm like, so you think you would have negotiated with them so you'd have some kind of money coming
Right.
in? Now it's sat there for a year, and you've had
Vacancy for a year.
nothing.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Right.
good for you. These people are greedy. Greed
Right.
is a horrible thing.
So
I'm very opinionated.
no, that was good. What have you been doing during this time to stay creative? I mean, we've been going through the pandemic. It's been rough. How do you stay on track with what you need to do to stay focused? It's definitely hard.
I've really been doing in-home workouts a lot, which shout out to heatherrobertson.com. It's a free 12-week plan on YouTube that kicks I did it. I made sure I did it today so I would have some energy for you and
Good.
for the interview. So I've been just trying to make sure I keep my workouts up, which I love. I love not going to the gym now. I'd rather just work out at home. Just updating my materials. I learned some editing. I finally got some of my old clips up on YouTube. Well, I'll be updating my YouTube channel soon, but just stuff for inside the business of clips and reels and stuff like that. Reading, sleeping.
Important.
A lot of
important.
television.
Yeah.
I'm a big reality TV. I watch all the
I am too.
All the Housewives.
I can't lie. Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. Yeah.
I'm a big Bravo fan.
Yeah.
I met Andy a couple times in the West Village and given him hugs. I actually tried to. I have a TV pilot that a friend of mine wrote that but I had the idea. It was called Wolf Island, based off Dante's Cove, and it's about werewolves on an island. And I pitched it to Andy, and then he gave me the guy at NBC Universal's contact info. But he said, I don't find hair sexy, so he passed on it.
That's funny.
But we did get to do a stage reading and actually get to cast it for the SAG Foundation years ago. So that was pretty cool.
Really?
Yeah, actually see it come to life. Yeah.
Are you a writer? I mean, is there other stuff that you've written, or is it just one?
Honestly, I start to write something and then I stop. Because I get to a point, like things will come into my head, and then I'm like, and then I got nothing. Like I just heard, I like to sing. I'll just make a song out of anything. And I heard, I watch a lot of the game shows too. I want to be on the weakest link. So and I was watching last night. I'm like, I got it. I know all these answers, most of them. There was a thing about the California condor being almost extinct, and then I started writing a country song about that. It's like
that's funny.
I'm like a California condor. There's not a lot left of me. So I was like, that's awesome. And that's all I got.
That's good. What kind of music do you like, or what kind of music do you listen to?
I'm a huge Reba McEntire fan.
Yeah.
I met her. She was my first concert.
Mm-hmm.
My cousin got us backstage passes. when I was I think I was 15 years old. So I met her there, and then I actually waited on her at the Beatrice Inn for her 61st birthday.
How was that?
Talk about, I've never sweat or been more nervous in my life.
Really?
It was only me and another guy working. It was 10:30 on a Monday, and I was like, who the hell made a reservation at 10:30? We close at 11 for 4 people on a Monday. And then they're like, and then I heard the hostess was like, Reba will be here. And I was like, huh? She's like, yeah, Reba McIntyre. I was like, shut up. I was like, Matt, and her name was Amanda. I was like, Amanda, don't mess with me. She's like, no, Reba. I was like, and then my heart just started. I started sweating.
That's funny.
I stunk. I was like, and my friend Mishu, who was like, they call him the back waiter, would be like the busboy, whatever. He's like, what is wrong with you? Who is this? He doesn't even know who she was. He's from Poland. he's like, you're a mess. I'm like, I know. And so from her show, Reba, that was on the WB, Melissa Peterman, who was their co-star, the Barbara Jean, she had sent her a bottle of champagne to start the dinner with. So I went over and I introduced myself, and I'm trying to pour the champagne. I was shaking so bad. I just set it down. I was like, okay, just to let you know, I'm a super fan. I'm like, I'm not going to get through this now. And she was like, oh, thank you. And then she was cool from there. It calmed me down, because I was like, I can't just fake it.
Too nervous, yeah.
And we weren't supposed to, at the time, take pictures with the celebrities or whatever. Mm-hmm. But, and then she was like, you want a picture? Her friends, you want a picture with Reba? I was like, well, I'm not supposed to. They're like, she wants to. I was like, okay, perfect. Let's do it. And
I like that story.
And then I stalked her at the AOL, what is it? AOL Build, like interviews there. It's Soho in New York here on the corner, and I got in the very last person to see her when she was promoting her gospel album, and then I took a picture with her real quick, and I said, "Do you remember? I waited your birthday." She said, "Of course I do." So,
wow.
That's my Reba. That's
interesting.
I'll meet her.
Listen, it's okay to fan out. I have no problem with it. We're actors, but you know what? I fan out too. I worked at a spot on 42nd Street back around the 2000s. Okay, it was a celebrity spot, so all the celebrities came in. All the black celebrities came in. So I met everyone from Denzel, Sidney Poitier. That was the one that made me nervous. Everybody else I could deal with, but every musician, every actor came into that place, but Sidney Poitier was the only one that made me nervous, because he's so regal and so humble, and he came in with Olympia Dukakis.
He's an icon.
Yeah. And I couldn't not let the opportunity pass, so I had to say, Mr. Poitier, I just want to let you know that I really, the usual, I really respect your work, and I really admire what you did. And he's like, well, thank you, young man.
Yeah. So I know, it's always weird when you see them in person. Like, it's just not what you expect. They're short,
Right.
It's just because they're bigger than life on the screen, and then you're like, oh, here they are.
Here they are.
They're a real person. They really exist.
That's right.
I've met so many celebrities now, it doesn't faze me anymore. But
exactly.
Reba still would, though. I still would.
Right.
I still
would. We all have that one or two that.
He said, well, you can come down and do karaoke with. We go over to Reba's house and do karaoke. And I was like, don't mess with me.
Wow. Yep.
That's not been serious, because he never got back to me about it. Because believe me, I followed up.
That's funny. That's funny.
Oh, well.
You got anything coming up soon, or you?
Yeah, actually, next Tuesday, I just at the beginning of the month, I shot season 3, episode 6 of FBI on CBS. I can't really talk much about it.
Yep.
But
right.
Let's just say I'm a very integral part of the story, and I've had some roles before on TV shows, and like Boardwalk Empire, they cut the whole scene out, so I didn't have any lines. I looked like an extra.
It happens.
Good to see you.
It happens.
Oh,
I know. It happens.
I had Patricia Arquette point a gun at me. That was cool. I worked with an Oscar-winning actress. But FBI, yeah, they definitely can't cut me out of this. It's a big part of the story, and let's just say I'm in the climax of the show. I think I can say that much, but I can't really talk much more about it.
I like that.
Tuesday, CBS, February 9th at 9 p.m.
Okay.
Yeah,
definitely, everybody look out for that.
A great casting crew. I really felt like I was just part of the cast. I felt like I'd been there since it started. Treated me amazing. Yeah, it was great.
How do you feel going into stuff like that? I mean, I know you're walking into people who are, like celebrities. Yeah. Not that you aren't a celebrity, because you work quite a bit too. People consider you a celebrity as well. We know you, we see you. you know, but how do you feel just on a personal level when you walk in sometimes?
I'm not gonna lie. A lot of times I felt like the outsider, you know. But you know, thank God the PAs are always so nice and respectful and like sir. And I'm like, please, Josh.
Right.
I've gotta be called sir. I sometimes you feel like an outsider, but for the most part, they're pretty welcoming.
Do you feel like that's changed in the last couple of years? You know, with accepting more, you know, people of color, more people LGBT, more, you know, like a more.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gay myself, and I as soon as anyone assumes I'm straight, I let them know I'm gay because I've been there, done that.
Mm-hmm.
I think I might have hurt my career in the beginning because when Dante's Cove, most of the cast was gay, so I thought I was still new to it and being masculine, you know. I didn't want to have less opportunities because I didn't want to be seen as just gay.
Right.
Which is so stupid now that I think about it and look back on it. But things change too. Times have changed. So.
Absolutely, and I think that's
like whatever.
I think you just said it. Times have changed, and look at the people who are at the forefront of this whole movement. You know, you didn't have these.
Yeah, and they play all the roles. So yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Speaking of Matt Bomer, I worked with him on the show, and he was so nice, so humble.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So everything, like, really great guy. Yep.
Cool. What show was that? Suits?
Suits, yeah.
Suits? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, Josh, this has been a pleasure. Thank you for jumping on the podcast with me. Tell everybody how we can get in touch with you.
You can email me. So I always get that I look like Mark Wahlberg.
You do? Yeah, you do.
When I first got my first email, it was AOL. Still is. And then
I still have AOL too.
Yeah. And it was, I saw yours as well. We'll talk about that in a second.
Right.
But it was Boogie Nights was out at the time.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a big shining star. So I made my email Big Star Josh.
So here, wait.
I didn't even know I was gonna. I actually didn't even. I don't even think I knew I was gonna be acting at that point.
Let me tell you. Here's the thing about you. You look like Mark Wahlberg and James Dean together.
James Dean. Oh,
yep.
Shit. That's one of my. I love that movie with James Franco. I'll take that.
Yep.
Thank you.
Exactly.
It's big. You can contact me at bigstarjosh@aol.com. My website is my name, joshberresford.com. On Twitter, it's Big Star Josh. It's my name on Facebook, Josh Berresford. Yeah, please. I love fans. I try to respond as much as I can. I'm not one of those just to ignore you. Unless you're being a dick, then I'll ignore you.
I love it. Everybody, please make sure you find Josh on all the social media. Big Star Josh. Hit him up. Drop him an email if you have some work for him. Or just to say, hey,
that's what we like.
Guy, right? Make sure you look for him next week on FBI. He's in the climax scene. He just told you. I'll be watching.
I'm in more scenes than that, but
more scenes than that. But he's definitely in that.
Let you know that's you'll see me, and that's all I can say.
There you go. I want to thank everybody for listening to this episode of OneMicNite Podcast. You can find us at OneMicNite. OneMicNite is spelled ONEMICNITE. Go to the .com, find all the links. Also, this podcast is available on YouTube at OneMicNite. Make sure you subscribe. Hit the bell up top because you don't want to miss any of these episodes. You can follow me at MarcosLuis, MarcosLuis. Go to the .com there too. You can find all my social media links. Hit me up. Let me know what you think about this. And please make sure you share these episodes. I want to thank you for listening to OneMicNite Podcast. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Thank you so much.